Okay, I see that Peter has also joined this call. Um, and since it's like 3 past 10, I think we can start this webinar. So thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Um, I'm here by today joined by Elecnova. So I'm Bart Verhicke, one of the co-founders of Eniris. Um, I'm involved in the day-to-day operations at Eniris, also in the commercial discussions with customers. Have also a technical background myself. And today I will do the presentation from Eniris part. Peter is also in this call. And Peter is the support director of Europe for Elecnova. The reason why we have set up this meeting is because we see more and more Elecnova being involved with our customers. Looks like a really appealing solution that they have with their CNI battery systems. And yeah, we have already integrated them. We have also set up a testing environment as well at their premises. So the the interfacing is a reliable interfacing, has become a reliable interfacing, which is used now by many of our customers. And today I would like to have a closer look at how this integration looks like. But maybe first some words about our own company. And let me share my screen. So there we have it. So first about Eniris. So Eniris has started in 2018. Then I started the company with two of my co-founders. The main focus was on energy monitoring, which became energy management in 2020. And as of today, we serve a lot of residential customers and CNI customers, but we are not involved directly with them. We always rely on our installers, and it's the installers that we support as good as we can with videos, with our documentation, with our training sessions to become really partners of us to install the EMS system. So the EMS system itself has become one of the top players in Europe, especially if we talk about the Netherlands and Belgium, where, yeah, to my opinion, I think we're number one in terms of in terms of numbers of EMS systems that we have produced. And we also more recently won the Best Innovation Award with the EMS system. So yeah, a lot of credit towards us. But why did we develop an energy management, and why should you consider an energy management system together with, for example, the Elecnova battery system? Well, one of the reasons is you would like to unlock certain energy market revenues. Let's give you the example about the imbalance market. If you would like to get access to the imbalance market, for sure, you need to have an energy management system who is capable and who has the connections to the different energy suppliers. We have managed collaborations to get like collaborations with several of them, especially yeah, all over Europe we have these collaborations, and that's sometimes the difficulty you face with like a battery system of another brand without an energy management system. If you would like to control many assets, like older assets or more new assets, if you have like a legacy system of a different brand and you would like to combine it with an Elecnova battery installation, well, we can manage that, right? Of course, you have to double check whether this integration is supported, but with like more than 250 integrations we have done already, there is a high chance that this is that it would be a compatible system. And it's also, in a way, an investment if you choose for an EMS system to be future-proof. If next week Elecnova introduces a new generation of a battery system, or tomorrow you will introduce, for example, a heat pump, a brand new heat pump into your installation, then the chances are really high that we also support that, since we try to be the most open EMS system and we try to support all of these devices which we encounter. We have also different flavors of our solution in terms of an energy management system. We have the cloud version of our energy management solution. This is, I think it's fair to say, a less interesting solution in comparison to our local energy management solution, since it can, the best case scenario is that you have a single asset to optimize. If it comes down to like optimizing multiple assets at one location, it becomes a difficulty in time management. You have other constraints as well. And then I would rather suggest to switch to a local EMS system. And then we have the SmartGrid One Lite and the SmartGrid One Pro. For the SmartGrid One Lite and the SmartGrid One Pro, the biggest difference is in terms of interfacing. The SmartGrid One Pro makes it really easy for your installer to connect, since it has already a dedicated RS485 connection. It has also a Modbus TCP connection, which makes it easy to interface with, for example, energy meters, which come a lot with RS485 as interfacing. But with Elecnova, you can already go ahead with the SmartGrid One Lite solution, since Elecnova is relying on Modbus TCP only. So you can already start with the Lite. In terms of software, the same software runs on the Lite and on the Pro version, but it's fair to say that we have the Lite solution for like tasks in which like smaller assets are involved, and the Pro version for like CNI applications. So for the smaller segment of Elecnova, you can go ahead with the Lite. For the CNI, really, where a lot of calculations need to be involved, where a lot of precision is needed to be involved, and think about also timing of events. Think about the imbalance market, for example. It's fair to say you better pick, for example, the Pro version. Now, if we look at the portfolio of drivers we support, of course, Elecnova stands out, but we have also the coverage of many different other brands. And we don't make any differences in terms of collaboration between those. One advice is always please check out our online documentation. So maybe I have to share this first. So we have a docs page which can be easily found online. Let me share that with you. Okay, 1 second, something goes wrong. So it's available on docs.eniris.io. And on this page, if you search for Elecnova, I have the page in front of me, but to illustrate, if you look for Elecnova, you will find that, what are the supported devices? How is the wiring done? It's really easy in our case. It's Modbus TCP that we support for Elecnova. And you can also see the different types of devices that we support for Elecnova. Now, getting back to our presentation, let me check. Okay. So, the docs I already showed you. Our EMS can be used for residential customers, end customers, commercial, industrial, but with Elecnova, the focus is, of course, mainly today on the CNI applications. To which energy markets do we have access? Well, we have access to the ahead markets, imbalance markets, ancillary service markets, and the different energy companies have their own access to these markets. The day ahead trading is quite easy. You just have to pick from the price configuration one of the energy suppliers, and then it will automatically fill in the energy formula. At least this will be available, I think, in a few days from our from our app. For the imbalance market, you need to settle with one of the energy companies, sign an imbalance contract, and then we can manage that contract. And for the ancillary services, it's a bit more complicated. Only a few of them give you access to the ancillary market. But to give you an example, more recently in Switzerland, we did also a pre-qualification test successfully, and now we have also access to the FCR market. One of the advantages with our energy management system is that, and especially with the local energy management system, of course, is that all decisions are taken locally. So we don't rely on a cloud server to make a decision for us. So if the internet fails, we can still operate on the asset. Of course, if we don't have access to the energy market, let's say the imbalance market, then we fall back to the local operation mode, which can then be, for example, day ahead trading. Since for day ahead trading, we know the price is 24 hours in advance. But other modes we support are, for example, peak shaving, curtailment, optimization of self-consumption, load balancing, and zero export. One of the other benefits with our solution is that you can white label the device, and you can also white label the app. For this, typically we work with like a minimum order quotation, minimum order for the EMS systems before we start considering white labeling the device. And we have also web portals, MarketX, where you can have an overview of all your EMS systems in the field, and also then can access the Elecnova battery system. All right. Now I will just focus a bit more on Elecnova. So I will give you a small demo of how we interface with Elecnova. For this, I will share once again my screen. And I have in front of me the commissioning interface of an energy management system of us. I'll maybe zoom in a little bit. So with the device wizard on the energy management system, you can pick a battery system, which could be Elecnova. And as you can see, we support for Elecnova the Modbus TCP interface. We have these two types of devices which we support. If not, you can go with like the default. My model or device is not listed. If we pick then this device, you can see once again some information about how to do the interfacing. But we have also more recently shot a video with Elecnova. So this video will be also later on posted on this documentation page. Then you can also see what steps need to be what steps do you need to take from the batteries side actually to open the communication. And then in the next step, we will then search for the device in the network. So in my case, I have the Elecnova Eco series discovered. It's through Modbus TCP. You can see also the assigned MAC address. And to illustrate you that an EMS system can also integrate other systems, you can see there is also a Huawei PV installation at this site, which can then also work together with the Eastron energy meter that is on site available. So since with our device wizard, you can also introduce other devices, for example, other energy meters, other PV installations as well. Typically, if you have then interface with an Elecnova battery system, it's always nice to do a small test yourself, whether you can see that the device is actually listening to your commands. So we always advise you to make use of the test manual override. With this, you can actually see, can we influence the battery system? And on settings level, you have also the possibility of saying whether it's a single phase or three-phase system, what is your nominal power of the system, your battery capacity of the system, minimum state of charge, maximum state of charge, maximum battery power, the efficiency of your system. This is sometimes a thing that people don't look at themselves. But this has a big influence if you are, for example, trading on the day ahead market, especially for like smaller systems. Be careful that sometimes we are a bit hesitant of trading energy from or back to the grid if the efficiency is, for example, at a certain moment really bad for doing a trading. So it's always actually good to check which efficiency you have filled in. And then the next step is to actually check on the electrical diagram. So typically we suggest ourselves a default electrical diagram, but it's always nice to actually check yourself whether this makes sense, since your energy grid, your distribution grid, should be represented by an energy meter. Okay, that's the case over here. Then you have a switchboard, and under this switchboard we have the battery system together with the PV installation. So this makes sense to me. Next step is then to set some settings. For example, your nominal current of the main circuit breaker. You define whether it's a single phase or a three-phase installation. You also say what should be the allowed grid import power. This is your limit for importing, your limit for exporting, and also what is maybe the safety margin you would like to apply on this installation. And you can see with our more recent versions of this Market One software, you also have nowadays some warnings as well if things are not set well. That's also something I would like to mention. With every Market One system you purchase, you always get also the latest firmware updates as well. There are no limits in terms of getting firmware updates. Okay, and then for our Elecnova system, as you can see, we have chosen to work with the peak shaving only mode for this particular site, but we could also, for example, switch to cost optimization or self-consumption optimization. Now, in our case, we have we chose to work with the peak shaving only mode, but this is only if there would be no external signal applied. If in the case there is an external signal applied, let's say it's an energy market you have applied to this installation, then we listen with priority number one to this energy market. And this is actually the case here. So if we go to the external data sources, okay, it's not the case, but typically it is the case that with the external data sources, there is an external data signal. Let's say we have an external data signal from EFS, and then we have access to the imbalance market. This will be our priority number one. And whenever EFS, their signals are not coming through, maybe due to network issues, then we will listen to these modes. So these modes should be considered as like a fallback mode when the active signal from the energy supplier is not active. Okay, and with everything here set up, you're good to go, and you can actually see and check yourself the system in the app. And this is, for example, one of those systems in which you then can see how is my battery responding. If we zoom in on the battery system, you should see, for example, the historical state of charge and also the predicted state of charge, typically then based on either the energy supplier, their commands, or if you are doing day ahead trading yourself, it will also show you the forecast based on the day ahead trading. You can also see the grid consumption and how it actually predicts for the next hours the consumption pattern. If we go to the planning, you would also see something like the energy prices and how the battery system is actually listening to these energy prices. Okay, and that's in highlight how we connect with an Elecnova system. It's an illustration of the use case of an Elecnova system together with other brands on site. So I think we can now move on to the next speaker, and that's Peter.
Bart, first, thank you for your presentation about Eniris. Then I will share my screen. And if I'm correct, you can see my screen already. So for the Elecnova part, as Bart introduced me, I'm Peter. I'm at the sports side of Elecnova. And I will try to introduce the company, share some information about the products, and share some business cases we already made in the European market. So Elecnova is a quite big company with 700 employees, having 2 factories and 3 R&D centers in China. It is established about 28 years ago, so it laid its foundation quite far back, and have made a lot of projects already. To see where the company found its foundation, it's in 1998 in a meter business, and then developed itself more and more into the energy market, getting some nice awards, and after a while also establishing a battery department, which grows a lot. In 2025, we offered a Dutch brand or a branch, where I'm also in. And in that branch, we have some stock, some technical support. So yeah, it's good for the European market. The batteries are produced close to Shanghai. We have an automated production line, so it's really nice. For the global strategy, we have some big partners around the world. So are represented everywhere, almost everywhere in the world. So here you can see some of our locations. In Europe, we are quite big, and also you can see a lot of us in the Asia sector of Vietnam, Thailand, but also in Poland, Romania, Italy, Turkey, and in the Dutch branch and warehouse where I'm located. Furthermore, we are strategic partners of Schneider and an excellent partner of ABB in China. And then the most important part, the products. Elecnova has a large variety of products with all-in-one cabinets, hybrid cabinets for the PV, and only battery cabinets. That's more basic for the C&I. And then we have the large cabinets for the utility, the all-in-one batteries, but also including the measuring components. And the other cabinets for intelligence controlling, low voltage power distribution cabinets, whatever you need, we have it. For the energy sector, then we switch a bit more into the products. For the C&I, we have batteries with 101 kilowatt hours 1C. Then we go to the 2 or half C batteries with the Elecnova 261 kilowatt hours and 125 kilowatts of power. And then we have the battery cabinets of 480 kilowatt hours. For the solar solutions, we have some smaller cabinets with 100 kilowatt hours of storage, including some good PV brands like Solentech and Solis. For the big solutions, we have 20 feet containers, all-in-one container, so with a 1 megawatts of power and 2 megawatt hours of storage. And we have big battery containers. And we have some smart auxiliary systems, like a point of connection to connect multiple batteries, an SCS cabinet, for example, if you need off-grid applications, including automatic transfer switches and SCSs to switch really fast. The product map. So we start with the all-in-one cabinets. There we have about 5 different products. in which we mainly focus now on the Echo E261. So maybe I can point towards it if I'm fast enough or not, but it's this one where's my mouse currently on. That's the product we mostly apply within the European market at this moment. It's with the new cells and a small footprint. So that's quite a good product. Then the hybrid cabinets. So if we go straight down to the hybrid cabinets, we can see the products that are also supported by PV inverters. So those are really much used currently in the Netherlands to build different electrical installations. Then we have the battery cabinets again, that are just cabinets with batteries in, so no power supply units within. So where we're going to focus on are the smaller cabinets, all-in-ones with 261 kilowatt hours. For these cabinets, we use tier 1 LFP cells, and we have done a lot of tests about safety. In Europe, we see a lot of safety is needed for the fire protection, mainly the UL 9540A certificate, which is fully done by Elecnova. For most of the European countries, this means that we can place the batteries closer to buildings, but also apply it for less safety regulations around the battery. For example, in the Netherlands, we can place it 1 meter or at least 1 meter away from a building. If you do not apply for this certification, you need at least 10 meters. So it opens a lot more windows of opportunity to place your battery closer to buildings. Then the battery is having a liquid cooling system. This means it's more stable and can cool the system better, which makes the system last longer, resuming in a longer cycle life and a better warranty for your product. Also, the product is shipped with everything built in, so the PCS, BMS, EMS, but also the liquid cooling is already filled. So the only thing at the site to do is quick install the battery. So only the AC power needs to be connected and one data connection. The BMS or the EMS of Elecnova is really friendly, so it's quite easy to online to see what the system is doing, or for example start the system. And if you integrate it with Eniris, you can open a lot of more remote or smart strategies. The round trip efficiency is 89% with auxiliary system in it, so it's quite an efficient system to be honest, and can add a lot of units in parallel, up to 10 pieces. So that's a lot. Then there is also an air-cooled version. It's just the main difference is liquid cooling to air cooling. For the Belgium customers, the hybrid cabinets, one of the most important things is that it is compatible with Synergrid, and all of their solutions are compatible with Synergrid. So it's easy to place in Belgium, Netherlands, or around in Europe. The hybrid storage cabinets are a bit smaller, so less capacity, but they offer a great opportunity to store your PV power and use it later when needed. The inverter efficiency depends a bit on Solus and Solentech, but it's around 79%, which makes the round trip efficiency even higher to 90% in total. So those systems are really efficient to store PV energy. They supply or they support a wide power range, so it depends on the brand, but up to 25 to 50 kilowatt of power can be used from those systems. And those systems support also the standard backup functions. So within 20 milliseconds, you have the UPS function ready. So that's really fast. The inverters support multiple working modes. So the peak shaving or time of use mode, where you set times to charge, discharge, are already within. And also these products are fully certified with the European standard regulations, which also makes it easy to install at locations. Then all-in-one container, something we see more and more is bigger solutions also. So it's a 20 feet container with 1 megawatt of power at 400 volts, which is really nice for people, because we see a lot of systems currently with 690 volts, and that's most of the time not really standard in Europe. And the containers have about 2.1 megawatt hours of capacity. Also, those containers are liquid cooled, which is good for the systems and for having less maintenance. Each battery cluster is independently managed, which makes it a stable system. It's also a really safe system. So it's safer than most other systems. Then we have the battery container, who is just a battery, so no power supply unit within. Standard use within whole Elecnova is a 314 ampere hour cell. So all the products are quite the same cell at this moment. And also the footprint is standard with 20 feet. This system does not have power supply unit within. So in that we can help select a good PCS, for example, a Synexcel one, which can integrate easily with this battery solution. And that makes us a one-stop shop. If you have a project and you do not know which is the best battery, we can help design the best battery, but also help you design or select the right PCS for your project. And this makes it really easy and convenient to work with us, but also have a good solution for your end customer. I think that's the main part. Then the certification, the transport standards we all have, the UN 38.3, so you can ship it from whatever in the world to your place. That's all done. Then the battery packs have a TÜV certification. And some of our projects are still ongoing, the UL 9540A certification, but the cabinet, so the 261 kilowatt hour cabinets, at least that one has it, which is really nice for the place where you want to place the battery. Then we have some certifications for our grid connection. I hope every country you are within is in the list. May it not be, please contact us and we can see what we can do. But I hope everyone is in there. And then we cooperate with a lot of partners around the world. You have the cell manufacturers like Eve, Hitium, and some PCS fabricants like Synexcel or Enjoy. And then you see a lot of other brands that are within where we do use parts from, work together with. So quite a well-known partners, I think. Then the solutions. We have different kind of solutions. It's mainly focused on C&I and utility scale. And you can use a lot of our solutions also with solar panels or EV charging stations. Or if you want, you can go completely independent. We have some case studies in the Netherlands. These are the older types of cabinets, so the ones we used previously for the new cell game. These are 5 cabinets of the Eco E 233 kilowatt hours. And here you see 5 units in parallel, which is using for peak shaving and frequency containment usage. So the Elecnova is providing here the basic EMS functionalities, and there's a different EMS used to buy and sell energy and control the whole building. If we look to the schematic, it's made out of 5 all-in-one cabinets. You see in the picture also. That's connected in the AC side to one point of connection. So this is mainly the AC wiring coming in and going out. And also those cabinets are connected to the cloud and getting steered by the free third-party EMS. Also, it's integrated with some on-grid loads, and there's also a PV inverter connected, but those are all controlled by the third-party EMS. So this grid, this solution you can see has no STS. So what happens if in this case the grid has no power, the whole system is not working. But in Estonia, we have some solutions also with an STS. So that's the cabinet you see in the left picture, and then on the right of the batteries cabinets. When the grid fails, it switches within 20 milliseconds to backup mode. So the batteries can support still the building or charge from the PV side. So you will, if the grid fails, you will not lose power to your load, but also not to your building, which helps a lot, especially here in the Netherlands, where the grid is becoming more and more unstable. At certain places, other places not, but there are parts in the Netherlands where it is becoming harder, and there the STS cabinet will help you a lot. So in Estonia, they are going quite hard with the batteries also, and also with the STS functionality. So in the Netherlands, we have quite some projects already. A big hotel is focusing on the batteries of Elecnova because of its stability, but also its technical reliability. So currently they have placed around 40 cabinets, and then there's also some farmers who are placing the cabinets to store their power from the solar panels. Then there are some projects in Belgium, the UK, Czech Republic, Estonia, Italy, and Poland. So more and more places in the European country, we have some products placed, but also some knowledge about current rules, how does it work, and what's different in that company or country, I would say. Relocalization of the support. First of all, the products are packaged really well, as you can see. So there's a box without, there's a plastic foil and some other things to protect the parts. And then the installation can be done lifted by a forklift or with a crane. There are 4 connection points on the top where you can lift it. Then after the installation, you have the commissioning, which can be done by yourself, but also by our local support team. And after that, we help you with the complete installation. And then we leave when it's working. So the monitoring can be done 2 ways. There's an Elecnova monitoring, but also if you choose for the Eniris system, they can also monitor it in that. The management system of Elecnova is built with multiple site management. So if you are installing, you have multiple applications, you have one big list where it's in, where you can see what it is doing. If there are, for example, errors and that kind of stuff. So it's really nice to have and makes your work a lot easier. And also within there, you can select multiple EMS functionalities on how the product should behave or work. Then I have a small video, and I hope I set my screen correctly, and you can see my screen now ready the video. And I hope the sound will come on. Or does not open because of an error. Let me see if I can fix that one real fast. I hope you can see it right now.
We can see it, but the audio is not working.
That's
But in a way, it's some music.
It's some music, yeah.
Yeah, it's some music. So in a way.
So this is quite a small video on how it is installed. And if I go a little bit back, you can also see something of the Elecnova cloud platform, where you can see like the battery, for example, what it is doing, if it's functioning normally, or for example, if the door is opened. And also you can see what the PCS is doing. So if the battery is charging, and if it's charging, you can also see the active power. So I think that's really nice to see, and you can also see what the unit is doing without looking into the EMS, for example. So this is quite a nice overview of the current status of your device. Then the video was also within the presentation. So that leads us to the questions. Are there some questions about the Eniris product or about Elecnova? Or was something not clear or you want to know more of?
I think people can raise their hands, and by raising your hand, we can actually listen to your question. But if it's not the case, yeah, then you can still send us an email afterwards, right?
Yes.
Sorry. No, I don't see any questions for now. Yeah, then thank you very much, Peter, for the
Yeah, no
explanation.
problem.
Yeah, if there are no further questions, then I think we can round up this session. We will also make this video, this webinar, afterwards available. So yeah, just check your email to see that follow-up email. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much once again, all, for joining this session, and yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Thank you.